Good evening, everybody. This is Robin, Certified Nutrition Specialist, and we are here tonight for Stories of Hope, the healing power of nutrition. As I mentioned, I am a nutritionist. It's been 14 years that I have been in this work. And what I've found, what I see is alarming from when I started to now. And it it fills me with some sense or extra sense of purpose that I know that I can't stop sharing how nutrition really can do such have a profound impact on our health and our healing. So I hope that you listen and take some inspiration from the stories that you're going to hear. I want to jump right into the stories and then I'll come back and kind of tie it in as far as nutrition. But I will say that, very good. Okay, very good. I will say that we are as a society dealing with so much, and we want to be as strong as we can be health wise to deal with all the things that are happening. So again, you're going to hear some stories from some very phenomenal folks, and then I'll come back. So again, we're Stories of Hope, Healing Power of Nutrition. These are their individual stories. Everybody has a different story, but what the common thread is that they're flooding their bodies with nutrition, whole food nutrition, lots of vine ripened produce, and they're taking it in such a very concentrated, impactful way. So let's hear their stories, and then we'll talk more about how this is even, what are they doing more specifically. So Charles, I'm going to bring Charles on, and Charles is coming by way of telephone. Charles, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you so much for joining in with us via phone. And your story is profound. And I just want to start by asking, you've been taking these fruits and vegetables in a very concentrated way for, I think, a year. Is that true? Has it been about a
No,
year?
since September. Since
So not even
September.
a year. So tell us
Mhm.
what you've experienced prior to flooding your body with all this nutrition. So kind of before, and then what benefits you've seen.
Oh, okay. Well, before I started taking the plant-based products,
Mm-hmm.
I um I'm a type 2 diabetic for over 25 years. I've
Mm-hmm.
had a stroke, and now from the complications of that, now I'm totally blind. I can only use my right side mostly, because when I had my stroke, I had to learn everything with my right hand and my right side, learn how to eat, write, sign my name, everything, learn how
Mm-hmm.
to read Braille. And I also am on dialysis now. And when I got on dialysis, I was on 4 heart medications, 1 cholesterol medication, one what they call a binder, which helps you digest the potassium in your system.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on um, a what they call a Vidal, which is half water pill, half heart medication.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I was on that, and then in September, I started taking the plant-based products.
Mm-hmm.
And now today, I'm glad to say that I take no medications at all.
Wow.
I am completely off the medication, and that's just a blessing, taking these plant-based products. And I wish I would have knew earlier when I thought I knew more than the doctors did. So,
Yes.
and
Thank
I'm just so glad of, my story. And my biggest thing is, just being consistent with it.
Yes.
I mean, if you do it one day, then off two, one day off two, it doesn't work. You have to be consistent, just like you have to breathe all the time. Your heart has to pump all the time. You're going
Absolutely.
to have to take the plant products on a regular basis. So,
Absolutely.
giving hope to all of you, it can be done. You
Yes.
know, it just takes a little hard work, and hard work will pay off.
Thank you so much. And it's like there's so many people that you're going to inspire. Maybe they've heard it, maybe they've thought about it, and they're saying, you know what, I do need to make a shift in how I feed my body and how I flood my body with nutrients. And so you are such a phenomenal testimony to that. Appreciate you
And
being here. Go ahead.
and also, being a man, I didn't want to do all that stuff. You can act, well, IV is my spokesperson, and I was very skeptical with IV. I was
Yeah.
like, nah, but it costs too much. Nah, but this is going. How can one little pill or one little plant-based product do this? How can that? And she was like, just try it. And if not, you know,
Yes.
just stop taking it. And then I, finally gave in and I did it. So
And yeah, you said something very profound as people are like resistant. They're like, I don't believe that all this fruits and vegetables
yeah,
in this capsule or in this way can help. And the fact that you are a man, and there's so many men that need to hear this. So thank you so very much for your willingness to share, and that for Ave for connecting us and just having you your share your story. Very, very profound. So hang on, because there's some other stories coming. I want to introduce.
yeah, I'm staying on.
Yes, thank you. I want to bring
Yeah.
on um, Chanda. I hope I'm saying that right. Chanda, can you help on the screen? Am I saying your name properly?
Yes.
Good. Very good. So now you had, I believe, and tell me if this is true, experiencing a lot of pain at one point. Is that accurate? Okay.
In
So,
my joints.
so take us from there. You know, how life was before and now, before flooding your body and shifting what you're eating and all of those wonderful things. What was, tell us.
Okay, so before eating the plant powders, I had so much pain in my body. I was sleeping in a recliner, and I had for 6 or 7 years. I could maybe sleep in my bed for an hour or two, but that was it. I had back pain, hip pain, shoulder pain, knee pain. And honestly, I spent a lot of time in the recliner. I felt like I was always worn out, and my family was always on the go. And it was just really sad. And I couldn't even walk a lap around the block without having to stop and just tell my kids that's all the further I could go. I had trouble going up and down the stairs. I had trouble lifting my arms above my head because my shoulders hurt so much. I had swelling in my feet and my ankles, and I just I had serious thoughts that at some point I was going to have some sort of serious health event happen to me. And then I started taking the plant powders in March of 2021. So just hit my 1 year anniversary. And we put all of our expensive vitamins away and just strictly ate our plant powders. And in just 1 week, I noticed that my energy levels went through the roof, and I started sleeping in my bed again. And I've slept in my bed every night since then, after just 1 week. The swelling in my ankles and my feet disappeared. And I signed up to help coach my 9-year-old softball team. And I was hitting balls and playing catch with them that summer. I started walking again a lot. And I added mile after mile, and I got up to walking 6.5 miles in a day. And that's huge.
Wow.
Like, my skin feels amazing, looks amazing. I had some eczema on one of my hands that showed up every winter. It's gone. I had horrible gum health. I've gone to the dentist. That's completely gone. I've lost about 40 pounds so far. I sleep better. The inflammation is just gone, and I feel great.
Thank you so much. When we hear the stories, those that are listening are like, what is she doing? Legitimately eating a whole bunch of fruits and vegetables in its most authentic form, vine ripened, peel seeds. I always say to people, what do you think will happen to your body if you had the highest quality produce that you were consuming consistently every day? It hits your cells at ways that you may not be able to imagine. Thank you so much for sharing that. And hang on, we'll stay. Please stay. And then Jennifer. So Jennifer, where are you? You're there. You have an amazing story to share with regards to asthma, I believe.
I do. Well, my journey actually started 19 years ago when I was pregnant with my daughter. And I was a fast food junkie before, and I was fine. I could live on that. I just didn't understand the importance of nutrition. And when I was pregnant with my daughter, I was diagnosed with preeclampsia. And thank God I had a forward-thinking doctor, and he told me to go home and eat raw fruit and veggies and do not eat anything prepackaged, anything with salt. And I just didn't understand that. I didn't understand why. And so while I was on bed rest, I told my husband, can you please get me something to research this? And so I started researching the importance of fruit and veggies, and it transformed our family. By the grace of God, my daughter was born healthy, premature but healthy. But I started transitioning our family to a healthier diet after learning that. But the true impact really happened when we adopted our son, and he was very sick, malnourished, rickets, anemic, you name it, he had it. We brought him home and first started just a healthy diet. And we added up to 5 breathing treatments a day, 2 steroids. We went back for a 6-week checkup, and they diagnosed him as a severe asthmatic at that point, told us he'd be tied to a nebulizer, and he would never be able to play sports. We were heartbroken. At that point, I had started him on these plant powders. We had already been taking them. I found out when I was pregnant with my daughter, but I had not started him because I was worried about allergies. So at that point, I started him on it. And within 6 weeks, we were able to wean him off all of his breathing treatments. It gave him his life back. He is now 17 years old, plays every sport possible, swims, club soccer, cross country, you name it, he does it. Now, I'll tell you that I thought maybe he just outgrew everything. Maybe this was we were just lucky. About 2 years ago, we had to take him off the plant powders because we were trying to figure out what he was allergic to again. And so I'd take him off the concentrate. And he went in, he was the type of kid that would get mad if he ever had to sit out of a soccer game. He wanted to start and play all the way through in this club soccer. Within 10 minutes, he's raising his hand to come out. And they brought him out, and I went over to see what he was doing. And he's like, Mom, I feel like my chest is collapsing. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. So here he was years and years later. We took him off the concentrate, and his asthma was still there. That was such a red flag. Also, we took him off in July. From August to December, he had 6 different viruses, home from school nonstop. None of us got any of it. None of us in our family got anything else living in the house. And that's when I realized he hasn't outgrown anything. It's the plant powders who has given him his life back, his energy back. We put him back on, back running, not sick. It's been amazing, but it was taking him off for that short stint of time that really showed us that it wasn't that he outgrew anything. It was the power of the plant powders that gave him life, gave him energy.
Yeah.
We'll never skip again. That's for sure.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Very, very impactful. Very much. Thank you. And then last but not least, before we have a little bit more discussion, is Nina. Nina, where are you?
I'm right here.
Hello there.
Hi.
Now, your story, just like all the stories, leaves me in awe. Yours is just okay. Start from the beginning. Just start. Yeah. You gotta.
Well, if I really start from the beginning, I'll have to say that I was never a healthy eater growing up. And by the time I was in my 40s, I was in so much pain everywhere, but particularly in one hip, that I was in a wheelchair. And I didn't know what was wrong with me, went to doctors, didn't get any relief, was given anti-inflammatories. And finally, I figured out that what I was eating might have something to do with it. So I took things out of my diet. I took out sugar, and I took out gluten, and I took out dairy. And I got enough relief from that I could get out of the wheelchair. And I still hurt every day, but the pain was much less lessened. Much more lessened, pardon me, than it had been before. And I figured I could be okay with this. you know. But I also wondered, gosh, if I feel like this right now in my 40s, what am I going to feel like when I'm in my 60s? And by the way, I'm in my 60s right now, so I'm about to tell you what I feel like. But I was living on the edge, because if I ate just the littlest bit of sugar, or the littlest bit, if they brushed, you know, my vegetables with butter, I would end up having a reaction and be in a lot of pain. So fast forward, I was controlling, you know, my symptoms as much as possible with my diet. But then in 2009, a spider bit me, and it set up a chronic cascade of catastrophic inflammation in my body that resulted in sepsis, which resulted in me losing my entire colon in emergency surgery on Christmas Day, 2009. And when I woke up and realized that I was missing an entire body part, and they told me, you're not going to be able to eat fruits and vegetables anymore. So you can have potatoes, rice, bread. Well, obviously I couldn't have bread because I knew I was allergic to gluten. So my diet was now very limited, very uninteresting, and very nutrition deprived. I knew there wasn't enough there to really keep me alive. And sure enough, my weight plummeted to about 90 pounds because I couldn't digest even that. I had lost the ability to digest real food. So everything was going through me in 2 hours or less. I was on 19 pills a day, just trying to slow down my digestion to get something out of what I was eating. And even with that, everything was going through me in just 2 hours. And my hair fell out. And like I said, I dropped down to about 90 pounds. I was so weak, I couldn't pick up a glass of water in one hand. It was just too heavy. I couldn't get up the stairs in my house, and I certainly couldn't hold the new grandbaby, my first one that was born to us in 2010. And I stayed that way for about 3 years. And I saw no hope of ever getting better. And I knew what was happening to me. I knew I was slowly starving to death. And I prayed. I asked God if there was a way for me to get the nutrition I knew my body was craving, to please show me what it was, something that came in a manner my body could absorb. And the very next week, someone introduced me to plant powders in a capsule. And that made sense to me because I knew it's already powdered, it's kind of pre-digested. Maybe I'll get something out of that in the little time it's going to be in me. So I started taking that, as well as a plant-based protein shake to help me get the protein I needed to rebuild. And slowly I began to see, suddenly the glass wasn't as heavy, and my hair started growing back in, and my muscles started coming back, my energy started coming back. I got my life back. And my digestion even healed, so that I was able to start eating fruits and vegetables again, raw fruits and vegetables. And things weren't going through me in 2 hours or less. And I was able to get off of those 19 pills a day. And now the only pills I take are those plant powders in a capsule form.
Wow.
All these years later, I have 8 grandkids now, and I can babysit all of them at the same time.
That's amazing.
It made a huge difference for me, literally saved my life.
Wow. I know that those that are listening are saying, what plant powders? They're eating plant powders. They're like, what are you all talking about? So what I want to say, a couple of things. That imagine, and I mentioned before, that 30 different raw, vine ripened fruits and vegetables are put into a big grinder, and the water's taken out, and you're just left with the powder. And then those are put into capsules. I think that, first of all, if you want to know more information in detail, you would want to contact the person that invited you here, and y'all can talk in greater detail about it. This is not something that you see on TV, and maybe you've never even heard about it at all. ask the person that invited you here, and they'll share all the details of how, if you want to incorporate this into your life, what you can do. But it's literally fruits and vegetables that have been encapsulated that we take daily. And for those of you who don't know me, you're listening in, I am a nutritionist that I can't just recommend any old thing to my clients that trust me, that I have to make sure that there's research. I have to make sure that there's no shenanigans here. And so that I feel so comfortable in doing. So I would say to you, contact the person that invited you here now, because what if it can help you or someone that you know? And Charles had mentioned, not being so receptive at first, and that perhaps he wished that he had been more receptive earlier. So don't take that information, take that advice. For those of you that are here that have been the guests, Jennifer, is there any, Jennifer and Chanda, Charles, and Nina, anything else that you want to say before we let everybody free at all? Jennifer, is there anything you wanted to say?
The only thing I can say is don't wait. You've got nothing to lose but to try it, because it can be life-changing.
I think you and I had this conversation just a little bit ago, and you said, is this something you can see on TV? And I said, no. It's nothing that, it's this fruits and vegetables these are not advertised on TV. This is nothing that, that is, it's not a secret. That's the thing. It's not a secret. But because people ask me, well, can I get it at Walmart, or can I get it in, on Amazon? And the answer is no. That it comes from from me as a nutritionist or some of the partners. So anyways, any other questions or comments actually from the panelists? Charles, did you have anything to say before we go?
Oh, yes, I'm here.
Did you have
Yes,
anything?
2 things.
Yes.
Yeah, 2 things real quick.
Very well.
Number one, the ease of use. And what I mean by that is, like I said, I'm totally blind. So I see pitch black all the time. And I'm still able to take the plant-based product without any problem. I don't have to worry about cutting an orange in half and cutting my fingers off, or, doing a whole lot of other things, going to the store and actually trying to feel the, oranges and apples and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
And so that's what I mean by ease of use. Even I can use it and without messing up.
Yeah.
And then number 2, a lot of people complain about, well, fruits and vegetables are more expensive than processed foods, which is true. But when you have to pay all those doctor bills, and then you have to pay for surgery, because I have 2 toes that are amputated, and I had to pay for surgery. I had to pay those co-pays. I had to pay all that pharmacy
And this is
medicine, to keep me alive. So instead of giving my money to Big Pharma and the doctors, now I just give it, and it comes out cheaper actually over time to do it this way.
Very good.
And on that note, could I add? Sorry.
Absolutely, please do.
We had, like he was mentioning, we had spent so much money over the years on trying to get me well or just keep me alive that I was really not interested in sinking more money into something that I really didn't know whether it was going to work or not. Because once you spent that money, you can't get it back to go try something else. So it was very important to me when I was told about the research behind this product, because there was so much research and all the research pointed in the same direction, that it's very bioavailable, that when it gets into the body, it does good things. And that gave me confidence to try it. And then I was told on top of that, that there was a money back guarantee, which meant I could get my money back if it wasn't doing anything good for me. but I had confidence it would. And I'm so thankful it did, because now I would never be without it.
That's an important to know. There is a money back guarantee. That's important. Like, what do you have to lose? All right. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to turn off the recording, and then we do what's called the after party, where we can speak freely. So the last thing I want to say for you all that are listening to this live or as a recording, contact the person that invited you here and get additional information. And if you're geeky like me and you want to read all the research studies and know what universities and hospitals conducted the studies and all of that stuff, then that's available for you as well. Again, thank you so much. Yes. Oh,
can I add one more thing?
Yes.
I call it God's food, because I just think that we're going back to what the natural thing is. And I never miss a day. And I will share this with people until I am no longer breathing, because I think I just want to shout it from the rooftops that this is available, because, this company's been around for almost 30 years and I didn't know about it until a year ago. I don't want it to be kept a secret. And I just, these stories never end. I have heard so many stories in just this small amount of time that I have been taking this powdered produce, and it is just amazing.
And I want to say this too, because you have it in back of you. We grow produce. So if you right over there, y'all, right behind her. So we don't just, we encapsulate it, but we also grow it. So this is legit. We're dealing with real produce all day long, all the time. So I'm so happy that you have your hydroponics behind, because some people want to, grow it in the healthiest way. And that is an option as well. So thank you so very much. Again, I'm so happy that you have your tower there so that folks can see we're the real deal about fruits and vegetables, y'all. We are the real deal. All right, I'm gonna turn off this recording. Don't go. We're just